In this video I will show you a strategy how to win at Risk with one single continent. That's right guys, what if I told you that it's possible to win with only one small continent? And what comes to your mind is probably the Australian turtle or any other turtling strategies when you just sit in your continent doing nothing, while waiting till your dumb opponents destroy each other too much, so you would have more troops than both of them combined, and then simply take them out in a single turn. No guys. While in fact I will be going and spending most of my time in Australia, the strategy won't be about turtling, it will be completely different than it. The strategy actually will require being as much aggressive as possible. But no spoilers for it yet, so make sure to watch the video to the end. This game is being played with my subscribers, so I know that I'm playing with decent people here. Nobody of them would be dumb enough to suicide like it usually happens with public lobby randoms. Meaning that we will be able to do our moves more freely, actually the best of our moves. This game is being played with fixed cards, balanced blitz dice rolls and 60 seconds per turn. And my opponents are one Grandmaster rank player who is green, one Master rank player who is blue, and one beginner rank player who is orange. Wish me best of luck guys, and let's hope the god of good dice will be on my side today. And for those who don't know who or what that is, it is called RNG. Anyways, as you can see, the green player is trying to make it harder for me to capture Australia by putting some of his troops on the territory of Siam. And that's actually good to prevent other opponents from getting continents without sacrificing yourself much. But no worries guys, I'm not in a rush either way. I want to play safe and only capture Australia when I trade in a set, or if I don't get a set early, then when other players will be already traded in sets, placing their troops somewhere in a few different armies without really having great chances to steal Australia from me anymore. The green player is already traded in a set, and now I need to wait till blue trades in a set as well. For orange I would say it would be very unlikable to steal Australia from me. I think he is very clearly showing how he wants North America by having so many small armies in it rather than one huge army. And wow, I see the blue player is willing to play aggressively. I really like it. I like when players make a lot of attacks rather than let each other simply turtle. So hopefully I will be able to help the blue player to attack two other players as well. I'm willing to team up, but of course firstly I need to capture Australia. And nice, the green player retaliates by attacking the blue player too. So I think the good news is that I won't get eliminated first. The green player has sent me an alliance request, but so far I'm not sure if I want to accept it. Green is the weakest player, so if I'm going to target him as well, then that's no purpose to accept his alliance because it would be really bad towards diplomacy. I mean, I wouldn't really like to make an alliance with someone just to betray that person one turn later. Doing so, it could be very hard to gain that person's trust later on in the game. To be honest, I would have loved to team up with blue on the orange player instead, because he is going for the biggest continent of us all, while the green player just wanted Africa. But I mean, that might work out as well. The orange player is a beginner rank player, so even if he becomes the strongest, then probably it wouldn't be that much of a problem if it were a master or grandmaster instead of him. And I mean, the blue player is probably about to get Africa soon, so he will be balancing orange and we all be good. Well, I hope so. So we just need to eliminate green soon if possible, as I think he would be invading blue into Africa. So in that case probably I wouldn't be able to target the green player anymore, because I would just be giving the game away for orange. But for now I still can invade green into Europe and see what happens. The orange player's borders are not very well guarded as of now, so it would be no-brainer to invade him. To be honest, I would really like to attack orange, but only if the blue player helps me doing so. So this is why I've just sent him an attack request to attack orange, so if blue invades orange into North America, then I will be helping to attack and crush orange's troops too. So in overall we would end up teaming up on both of our opponents and basically dominating the game if anything goes according to the plan. But I mean, I understand that there is always can be some risk, and it might be bigger for the blue player since he has to guard two borders instead of one. But I would be willing to invade the orange player first too. but I have no idea if the blue player actually helped me. So far he only sends me the attack requests to attack green. I sent him an attack request to attack orange a couple of times, but haven't received the answer to that yet, neither through thumbs up or thumbs down, nor through his actions. So probably he is still thinking what he should do. I mean, he probably has an alliance with the orange player, but I think we all have made the alliances with the orange player. Orange neither too much guard the blue player's side, nor the green player's side, he just mostly puts the troops on the Asian border. So he wouldn't irritate neither blue nor green. And since nobody seriously considers attacking him, he is really taking the advantage of that. Obviously the green player is in the survival mode, attacking orange would mean an instant loss for him since he is so weak. But since the blue player doesn't show any signs that he would like for us to attack orange, I'm not attacking orange for now either. But just for now. If I see it's desperately needed to attack him, then I will definitely attack him later. But for now the blue player gets to hold Africa, so with him already having South America and with me Australia, we are balancing orange out. So yeah, orange is a beginner, so I wouldn't worry too much. But wow, the green player invades blue into Africa, so I wouldn't be able to ignore the orange player anymore. And obviously I won't. But before that I just wanted to try out one last trick under my sleeve. I specially unleashed blue's biggest army so he would either take out green, or invade orange. Or at the best case scenario would do both. And I mean, he definitely needs to invade orange now, as the balance of the game is almost broken. And he would better do so, as I doubt the orange player will be dumb enough to let him hold all these continents. So in one way or another their alliance will be broken. Or if not, then the blue player will catch up to orange, and we will be safe again when it comes to the balance of the game. But I mean, it would be just insane for orange to ruin his obviously dominating position. So if he still wants to have a big advantage over us, then better he invades blue now, as obviously I won't. And yeah, the orange player is obviously smart enough to do so. But on the other hand, I can be happy that he invaded blue, because the blue player most likely will want to team up with me on the orange player finally. I sent him an attack request to attack orange, and he responded with a heart to it. But in one way or another it was still the best decision to invade orange, so that's what I did. But oh no guys, the blue player has just betrayed me. He agreed with me to attack orange. But unfortunately instead of that ended up taking South America from me. I mean, I understand that originally it was his continent, but he could have just simply captured Africa. And the orange player after trading in a set would have invaded me anyways, so I wouldn't have been able to get 4 continental troops per turn. And it really seems he just wants to turtle, rather than teaming up on the strongest player, since he didn't even put a lot of troops next to orange player's border. Well, maybe he has just changed his mind, as he's just sent me an attack request to attack orange. So let me think about it. Well, he already had a chance to team up with me, but you saw that happened instead. So what are the odds that he is being not genuine about it again? What if he just wants to take the advantage of me? I mean, he has never invaded the orange player into his continent yet, even after orange invading him. So I mean, at the end I'm willing to team up with him on orange, but only if he attacks orange first. So it wouldn't be the same thing again. The orange player fortunately lets blue hold not only South America but Africa too, so after all we ended up good even without attacking orange. But I mean, the game just stagnates. The orange player is the strongest player anyway, so at the end we will still have to attack him. As even though orange and blue gets the same number of troops each, they just cannot team up on me by crushing all the troops they get into me, as obviously it would put orange even into a better situation since he is stronger than blue, so they cannot equally crush their troops into me. So unless the orange player firstly crushes some bigger army into me, so he would become as strong as blue, then in that case they could start equally crushing their troops into me. But I don't think the orange player would mutually weaken himself. As back then when the green player was alive, the orange player didn't help for us to get rid of the 4th player who is not really needed in the game. He was the strongest, So actually he was the one who was supposed to get rid of green, but since he saw that blue and I already teaming up on green, he was just taking the advantage of it, and even crushing some troops of mine. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it can be very smart. But if on the other hand nobody wants to get rid of the fourth player, then the game can just go for hours. So actually I really appreciate that the blue player took the green player out back then. So I just don't like that he doesn't guard his border against the orange player anymore. But maybe he has something good in mind. And to be honest, I don't understand why the orange player has stopped guarding against the blue player as well. I think that's not a smart decision, as the blue player could invade him now anytime he wants, so the orange player could lose his advantage if the blue player didn't let him recapture North America after invading it. But unfortunately the blue player sends thumbs down of attacking orange. I specially left 5 troops on the territory of Middle East, so the blue player captured the territory of Ukraine, so my biggest army would be unleashed towards attacking orange through Europe. Fortunately he captured the territory, but left his army on Scandinavia, so if I want to invade orange, then I would have to take down orange's additional 21 troops army. And as we can see now, the orange player added even more of the troops on his armies. So it would be extremely terrible for me to waste so many troops while I'm being the weakest. But on the other hand, the blue player fortified his army from Brazil to Peru, so actually I can invade orange through the blue player now. And obviously leave my army into North America, so the orange player wouldn't be able to recapture it. I just had to go with it if I don't want that the game would be prolonged. I really hate it when in a decent player game the players just turtle forever and do nothing while hoping that the game just magically will conclude itself. How in these situations someone is supposed to win assuming nobody disconnects or leaves the game. After I invaded orange into North America, the blue player sent me thumbs up, but after all went with taking Australia from me. And I mean that's fine because obviously I went through his continents. But my real problem or even question is whether the blue player would be able to team up on the orange player now since orange is the strongest. To find it out, I moved my troops from North America. So our relationships with orange would be equal when it comes to attacking him. As all this time I was invading orange only by myself, while the blue player hasn't invaded orange even once. Whenever I invaded orange, he was just taking continents from me, rather than considering to team up. So now let's actually see if he's willing to attack the orange player too, as he could perfectly invade him through Europe now, so it wouldn't be me who does all the dirty work all the time. He is quite stronger than me, so he is the right person to invade the orange player either way. The blue player moved his troops out from Australia like I wouldn't care to recapture it. I mean it's 2 troops continent anyway, and after all it doesn't really matter whether in this situation Australia belongs to him or me. Whether he has Australia or I do, it doesn't solve the biggest problem of them all, which is the game being stalemate. And the only way to solve it is by attacking the orange player, but obviously I just cannot do all the dirty work by myself if the blue player never shows any initiative by himself. So maybe I just have to stop invading the orange player as well. As in case I don't want to keep the game in a stalemate situation, then it really puts me in a bad situation, as if nobody attacks orange, then he wins. But if I do all the dirty work for blue by attacking orange, then the blue player wins. So either way I lose. So if having no chance to win I had to decide which player wins, then obviously I would prefer to reward the player who shows some initiative, rather than the one who basically does nothing. Obviously I wouldn't sacrifice myself just for the turtling player to win. Well, after all the blue player invaded orange for the first time after I didn't invade him into Europe by myself. But now the blue player just put his troops into his biggest army without even attacking a territory. But whatever, let's show him for one more time what I'm willing to team up on orange, who is the strongest player, meaning that we should attack him either way, whether we want to be allies with each other or not. I also unleashed his biggest army, so he would be able to take down some of the orange player's armies with it too, or even invade him into North America. And after him showing that he is finally willing to attack the orange player for real, I would attack the orange player a lot too. Blue is quite stronger than me too, so it makes sense for him to crush more orange players' troops than me too. The weakest player shouldn't just do all the dirty work by himself mostly, by attacking the strongest player, while other opponent who is stronger than him doesn't attack the strongest player by himself as much and at the same time taking the advantage of that. So I'm glad that it isn't like that anymore and the blue player attacks the orange player too, so that makes me motivated to crush a lot of orange troops too. I hope that the blue player invades orange into North America crushing orange's 58 troops army, so he would become equal the troop size comparing to me so we would be able to properly team up and attack orange equally. But unfortunately the blue player either wants for the stalemate to continue or would like that the dirty work would be always done more by me, that he would always have more troops than me, instead of getting to the same troops level, so nobody could take the advantage against other when it comes to attacking orange. So we would able to mutually team up against the strongest player. Or on the other hand the orange player could crush some troops into me getting to the blue player troops level, so then they could mutually team up on me. To be honest, it's really sad that neither blue is willing to attack orange to North America, nor orange is willing to at least invade blue into Australia in case he doesn't want to unleash blue's biggest army by attacking him into South America. But finally the orange player invades blue into Australia. I told to blue to attack my territory if needed, indicating that he could take over Africa, so what I expected that after the blue player having 3 continents the orange player would finally start attacking him, and then the blue player would be encouraged to finally attack the orange player into North America as well. But the orange player finally took over Australia without blue even capturing Africa. So of course I had to take it from orange, while it didn't matter whether Australia was held by me or blue. When it came to orange, it made a huge difference, because the orange player was not only getting the most of troops of us all, but he was the strongest player as well. So it wouldn't have been very smart to let him have even an additional continent to that. I'm very glad that the orange player has unleashed blue's biggest army, so maybe blue will finally considers invading orange into North America. Maybe finally as it's really been too long. I've just crushed the troops I've got from a set to orange to motivate blue even more to attack him, showing that I'm willing to team up with him on orange. It should be differently though. The blue player should be the one who motivates me to attack orange, since he is quite stronger than me. But whatever guys, I really hate the stalemate situations, and we have to end this game sooner or later anyways. And OMG guys. The blue player has actually invaded orange into North America. Finally. He is a real man now. I'm very proud of him. So of course I'm going to continue crushing my troops into orange after seeing that the blue player shows the initiative as well. Hopefully we will be able to make the orange player as the weakest player. And since the blue player is weaker than me now, I will have to crush some more troops into orange than him to become equally strong. So we would be able to team up on the orange player mutually without any of us taking the advantage against another one. I was expecting for orange to take South America from blue, or at least to invade him. But it seems the orange player has just decided to go with the way of becoming neutral towards us. And to be honest, it couldn't be better, as it will be just even easier for us to crush him. Well, assuming the blue player still wants to continue teaming up with me. I know he could change his mind at any given moment. But as long as he is willing to continue attacking orange without any of us taking over the advantage against another one, I'm willing to continue attacking the orange player too. Well, I don't like that the blue player is attacking my territories right now. I'm not sure the exact reason why he did that, but that's possible that he doesn't want to team up on the orange player anymore. I think that's likable that the orange player sent an attack request for him to attack me, or maybe the blue player himself decided to attack some of my territories seeing that the orange player started sending angry face emojis to me, so the orange player would feel much better about him. Or another possibility is that the blue player just simply wanted that I would use the big army to attack the orange player again, crushing lots of troops. But I mean, either way is fine. My army has become unblocked again, and I would be able to properly use it if needed, but meanwhile I could just use my troops outside my biggest army to attack orange. The blue player doesn't attack orange with his biggest army himself anyways at the moment. So I'm not doing something with my biggest army either. Well, the orange player almost came up with a plan how to make my biggest army blocked again, but thank God I still had some territories at the bottom of Africa, so I could still invade orange without going from Asia, and at the same time not blocking my biggest army. Obviously I cannot let him hold Europe, as with him getting stronger again, all the work I and blue player have done would gone in vain. I don't want for the game to stalemate, we need to make that each of us would have less and less troops each turn, so we finally could conclude the game. Gotta admit that the orange player plays very smartly by completely clearing out my territories from Africa, so now if I want to attack him, then I'm forced to block my biggest army in Australia. But I still found the way how to counter that. Well, half of my troops stay blocked in Australia, and the other half of troops stay in Europe. So the orange player is not only prevented from capturing Europe, but I will still be able to capture territories or crush troops if needed. In other words, I will still be able to do freely whatever I want, the whole 100 troops is not needed for me anyways. Everything I want I can still do with half as big army, the another blocked army will be only needed if I see that the game gets closer to the endgame. But for now it's fine to leave my another army in Australia. The blue player is as strong as me, and the orange player is far to become worth to be taken out for his cards. So not a problem to leave half of my troops in Australia, it just makes me feel safe of holding it, as the orange player would obviously give away the game for blue if he tried taking it from me, and for the blue player it wouldn't be too profitable too. I'm his best ally when it comes to teaming up on orange, so I doubt he would like to lose me, or that the game would be in a stalemate situation again, in case we stopped attacking orange, and the orange player wouldn't make some attacks either. Well, the orange player has just started manual rolling me, so technically the blue player could change his front if he thinks it would be a great decision. But on the other hand it's unknown for how long the orange player would be willing to team up with him if at all, while I have proven for the blue player that I'm willing to team up with him as much as possible by constantly attacking orange. And he also needs to keep in mind that the orange player prevents him from holding North America, so orange isn't completely helping him. But obviously I wouldn't let blue hold North America either if he captured it, so I'm very glad that he failed that blitz roll back then to crush orange player's troops, so we were able to stay as good allies. And awesome, the orange player invaded blue into South America. That's good. So maybe I shouldn't attack orange as much right now to see how it goes. For now it might be worth to only capture one territory per turn and see if the balance of the game be broken or something like that. In case the blue player ends up taking too many orange's troops, or even not too many but ending up with his biggest army blocked, I could possibly take over multiple continents and hold them for a turn, so I would be able to regain everything that I would lose from taking orange. But for now it's still too soon to predict how it goes. I need for them to become even more weaker. And so far it looks good, especially with the orange player invading blue into North America. The orange player has sent me an alliance request, but so far I'm not sure if I want to accept it. I think maybe it would be still better to continue teaming up with blue on orange if he is willing to. I wouldn't really like to lose blue as a good ally. But not sure yet, maybe I will change my mind soon. Or maybe the alliances won't even matter for me anymore. As I think I could become as strong as both of my opponents combined if they don't play that well. The orange player shouldn't really attack blue when I'm becoming quite stronger than blue. But on the other hand it was a mistake for blue to keep his army blocked too. As I could end up holding multiple continents for a turn with nobody being able to invade them if he keeps his army blocked, as the orange player could not have enough troops to do so, or even getting taken out, or not being suitable to invade them too. I decided to manual roll orange and then fortify some more troops next to him too because I saw that I could really potentially take him out in case the blue player blocked his army again. But as you can see the blue player was smart enough not to leave his army blocked this time. And the orange player changed his front to attack me rather than blue. So I think I really made a mistake over here by not accepting the orange player's alliance, and instead of that manual rolling him again. I should have had just let him continue focusing on blue, rather than bringing his attention to myself. But I mean, I still can very likely win. First of all, I need to start attacking the blue player as well. I think he noticed that I'm getting too strong too. So it's better to betray him first. It's not worth to attack orange anymore, as I don't need to make him worth to be taken out for cards for the blue player, especially with my Australian army being blocked, so I wouldn't like that the blue player would potentially pull off the 4 continents endgame strategy against me. So I'm not attacking the orange player anymore unless I'm fully taking him out. Anyways, how do you like my Australian evil strategy, guys? When you successfully hold Australia and at the same time prevent all other players from holding continents. I must say it is very fun to play in a position like this. Too bad the orange player had a set at 3 cards, as otherwise I would have really considered taking him out. Well, on the other hand, my Australian army was blocked. So I think it's the right time to fortify it from the block place, combining my both armies into one. As of now, my strategy is to capture as many territories as possible. Because you know, guys, the more territories you have, the bigger territorial bonus you get, so that will help really me outgrow them the troop-wise, if they don't capture my territories as much. To be honest, I think the blue player could have taken quite more of territories, and obviously the orange player too. I'm really surprised he didn't even take Australia from me, but maybe the orange player is afraid of becoming too weak. But the blue player has really made the biggest mistake of his life by putting his army in an isolated place. I think that will really gonna increase my advantage by a lot. Because I make one simple fortification and his army becomes blocked. He is only able to capture a couple of territories instead of a lot of them. And if the orange player is not going to capture a lot of territories either, then it's basically a win for me if I'm right. I should have more troops than both of them combined. Let's actually see what the orange player is up to. And OMG, I cannot believe I am so lucky, guys. Thank you very much, orange, for letting me hold all that stuff, as I'm going to have even better chances to win against you in the endgame. Yeah, I think I can definitely afford taking out blue. But let's just double check here. Yeah, let's go, guys. It's my time to shine. It's the show time. I decided to take out blue first rather than orange, because his army was bigger, and also he makes his turns faster. And obviously it's better to have a slower and less experienced player in the endgame if possible. As that player might not necessarily know the best moves. So you could even end up winning when you're weaker. Well, in this situation I'm obviously stronger, but you probably get my point. I see the orange player is already missed Australia. And not to capture as many territories as possible was a very huge mistake too. I've got a ton of troops by having a lot of territories. So always make sure to capture as many territories as possible when it comes to the endgame, guys. There's only you and your opponent left, so you should go all in on destroying everything as much as possible. So maybe unless your opponent's big army is being blocked, then it might be better not to unleash it. Check out these videos too if you're interested in learning even more of the strategies, and remember that practice makes perfect. Always keep your chin up.